Today's Morning Coffee Vinyl Side, John Williams, composer and conductor, Star Wars, 1977. This original motion picture soundtrack for the 1977 film Star Wars is one of the most well-known and celebrated film soundtracks of all time. Williams, already a celebrated composer and successful film scorer when he hooked up with a young Steven Spielberg for 1975's Jaws, began this project with Spielberg friend and associate director George Lucas shortly after the shark had been removed from the water. The expanses of the ocean had been traded for the expanses of space. Recorded with the London Symphony Orchestra over 8 sessions, Williams created a masterpiece of movements and themes for Star Wars, establishing an industry template for film scoring that is still followed today. A quick scan of his discography is humbling, not only to the quality of his output, but also the quantity. His name is associated with some of the greatest films of the later part of the 20th century and into the new millennium. And I note specifically into the new millennium because Williams, aged 91, is still active and working today. Now, in the early summer of 1977, right at the end of my 3rd grade school year, my parents loaded me into the car and drove us to the Paramount Cinema in the neighboring city of New Westminster. We joined a lineup, seemingly around the block, and awaited our moment at the wicket to buy tickets. I had no idea why we were there or what film we were about to see. I asked and I was told Star Wars, but the words meant nothing. They were an abstract. It was the first time I'd been part of a lineup, so the whole thing was rather exciting, but curiously odd. And when we finally did get our tickets and took our seats, a sold-out showing, the electricity in the room was palpable. It was positively a buzz. And as the opening title script rolled and the music began, I knew something amazing was about to transpire. And by the time the end credits rolled, my life was forever changed. It was as if I'd taken a bite of the apple. Nothing would ever be the same for me. The film opened so many doors in my mind and consciousness that I can probably trace back the origins of all my interests in film, music, literature, religion, philosophy, and lore to that moment. And because school had already ended for the summer, I had no peers to talk about this with and was left to process it on my own. I spent the rest of the summer integrating what I'd experienced into my understanding of the world. And I really wanted a lightsaber, but was pretty sure my parents wouldn't go for that. And I wanted that cool animated chess game with the monsters fighting Chewie played with Luke on the Millennium Falcon. Never got that either. Let the Wookiee win still echoes in my head as a life lesson. Too right. I'm not really sure if my parents took me to see Star Wars for me, or if I was just to tag along. Perhaps it was both. They were curiously plugged into the zeitgeist sometimes, and other times so far from it that it's hard to fathom. They did take me to a drive-in theater in 1978 as Jaws was playing in its second run. I was 9. I'm pretty sure they thought I'd be sleeping by the time it came on. I loved the movie, but I wouldn't set foot in the ocean thanks to that film until I was 22 and started surfing, and even then, I really had to push past the fear. It was a long wait, over 3 years for Empire Strikes Back, and when it was released, I loved it as well. But the thing that tied it together, the continuity that threaded the whole saga together for me, was and still is the music. I hated Jedi and the Ewoks and the other bits of tripe Lucas came up with over the years, and don't even get me started on the prequels. But Williams' music remained true through it all, and it still gives me a thrill when I hear it. It transports me back in time to that theater and allows me to re-experience my young self being born into a post-Star Wars world. How cool is that?